We're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week. It's presented by Wendy's. With all due respect to those in the Northeast, it was sunny and 80 degrees today in Miami. South Beach was loaded, the pools were crowded as you are watching the ACC on ESPN. Coral Gables is the home of the Miami Hurricanes, and that's where we are tonight as Miami comfortably in fourth place in the ACC. Looking forward to putting some conference wins in the bank, maybe getting a double bye in the tournament. They get a chance tonight against Wake Forest. LaFonso Ellis is here. I'm Carl Ravitch, and welcome to what should be an entertaining game, because anytime Miami plays at home, you got Lonnie Walker, you tend to be entertained.
There's no question about that. And if you're wondering why my skin's so oily, it's because of that sunscreen that I have on this 80-degree weather down here. But for Wake Forest to win this game on the road, they're clearly the underdog. They got to run Miami off that three-point line. 11 made threes per game for Miami over the last three, and they can't turn the basketball over. That gets Miami out in transition where they're at their best. They're sixth in the ACC in points off transition, so they got to take care of the basketball to try to steal one here in Coral Gables.
They can steal one, they can block one too, and that guy right there, Darrell Moore, who wore number 4 in the center spot, one of the better big men in the country. No jump against the Miami native, Tawan Ewell. Mentioned Lonnie Walker. Last time I sat here and watched Lonnie Walker put on a highlight show, sort of Darrell Griffith, old school Michael Jordan. Wow. And we had some right to left and all that stuff, so we'll keep an eye on him tonight as well. Bringing the ball up is the 5'7" Chris Likes. They lost Bruce Brown, one of their best players, for about 6 weeks. He had surgery on his left foot. That's a storyline to keep an eye on for the Canes over the next 6 weeks. Vasilovic, the first 3 of the game, misses. Offensive rebound kept alive, and it's Miami's ball.
And folks, you're going to see Miami run 1,000 middle ball screens today because they want to get Darrell Moore, number 4 in black for Wake Forest, out on the floor away from the rim. Doesn't move his feet as well on the outside, and it would keep him from blocking shots at the rim.
Lonnie Walker's first attempt, that's way too strong. And Crawford had an alley, and it was blocked by Walker, but the offensive rebound is put back up and back in by Terrence Thompson.
And for as good as this Miami team is, they struggle at times to get matched up in transition. You saw a little mistake there, but number 4, White, was able to erase the mistake.
Lawrence with the reverse, and he's been outstanding lately. That's Anthony Lawrence. Back-to-back double-doubles. And he picks up his first 2 points of the night.
7 of 10 from 3 over the last 3 games and shooting 66% from the floor. He's been hot.
High screen, Moore's open down low, and they get it to him as he goes one-on-one with Ewell. His first shot misses, and the ball deflected, and it's Likes and Walker banging into each other. Likes not afraid to take it to the hole, had an open layup, but he missed it.
I like the early push here from Wake.
Childress, he missed a layup, and some sloppy offensive plays on what appear to be fairly easy shots, and now a bad pass.
Wow, you're Nostradamus
Too much
like on
beach
that one.
time? What happened here? There's Jim Larrañaga, of course, a longtime Miami coach, 12th among active Division I coaches with over 620 victories. And Miami back in the top 25 again at 25th.
There's a little sunscreen on their hands. Everybody mishandling the ball here early, Raf.
3 in and out.
I like Heel on the block here. Likes to get to the middle and come back to that left shoulder.
Moore, one of the best shot blockers in the country, but Ewell with a good touch.
I love the patience that he's shown when he's caught the ball in the box this year, playing so much more confidently, has doubled up his scoring from last year to this year, playing about 6 more minutes from last year as well.
Yeah.
Been very efficient.
It's funny, both he and Moore on the other side have shown great growth in this season relative to last. Ball fake from Crawford. Now he drives it and has it taken away by Lawrence, and a long outlet, and that one is turned over. And Jim Larrañaga looks to his bench. All right, who we got to get? I got to get somebody in there for that. There's a dunk on the other side.
And Raph, could you see how Miami couldn't get organized there in transition D? And that's why I said earlier, those opportunities to attack in transition will be there for Wake Forest. I noticed that a lot when I was watching film on this team.
Tough shot. Too much, and there's Ewell to slam it down.
He does a great job of carving out space in front of the rim when there's a shot taken.
Thompson a long three, and that finds the bottom of the net. Terrence Thompson, a transfer from Marshall. 5 early points here.
Yeah, that wide open three was created by the hard roll after the screen from Darrell Moore. Well executed by Wake.
Great move by Likes, and he gets it to go. Good ball fake.
My goodness. Nice to be small and explosive.
Likes and Crawford played on the same high school team. And Likes was throwing alley-oops to Crawford a few years ago. Now they're opposing each other. When we come back, Lonnie Walker and the letter he wrote to Reading, Pennsylvania. We'll get into that story, and it's a good one when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's Hamburgers, made with fresh, never frozen beef, and H&R Block. Get your taxes won.
Welcome back, everyone. Lonnie Walker is a legend in his hometown of Reading, Pennsylvania, not only for what he does on the basketball court, but for his inspirational letter that he wrote as a senior in high school to the city for helping to motivate him, which in turn helped motivate so many of the kids he hoped to impact. Earlier, I asked him about why he wrote it. What led you to write the letter to the kids or everyone in Reading?
I mean, numerous of things, but mainly to continue to motivate the youth, you know, the kids. You know, a lot of kids back home, you know, they might not have a father figure or, you know, a very protective family that keeps them sheltered. I seen my friends get killed. You know, I seen a couple of my friends, you know, go down the wrong path. Seen a couple of my friends become, you know, someone that they didn't want to become. And it happens day in and day out. It's like a life cycle because they don't have anyone that keeps them sheltered, or they don't have someone to look up to become something. My message was just to make sure the youth, you know, my last sentence was, I'm just a kid from Reading.
Right.
You know, so there's really no excuse as to why you can't succeed and be the greatest person you can be.
It's an amazing young man who recognized through the work of his mom and especially his dad, his grandparents as well, to stay on the straight and narrow and focus on not only basketball, Fonz, but anything. And that's part of his letter, whether it be art, chemistry, basketball, sports, reading, writing. Let's be great at something. And I think a lot of the kids, and I know the parents, they took the team back to play a game against LaSalle in that area, and thousands showed up. That poster is in every school in Reading.
Yeah, his conscientiousness and poise, both remarkable for his age.
As we were listening to Lonnie Walker, he made a layup, went to the free throw line, and now Likes drives again, and Miami has run off 4 straight field goals.
Well, Miami has been able to get into the painted area, draw help, and the weak side is not recovering quick enough, and that's how Miami is able to get to the front of the rim each time.
Darrell Moore out, he gets a rest, so as a result, substitutions. Olivier Sarr is in out of France. He's number 30. And also in for Miami, Rodney Miller. He spells DeJuan Huell. One of the knocks on Wake has been, how come Moore's not involved more often offensively? The dude shoots like 70%.
Yeah, but more than half of those field goals are actually dunks, and so it's not. They don't have that guy with a pass. They don't have that guy this year that you can throw the basketball into like they did last year with John Collins.
Donovan Mitchell with a foul there on the layup. All right, 8 Eastern time, ESPN. Want to remind everybody, it's a Sonic blockbuster. It is Duke, North Carolina, which is the ultimate blockbuster in college basketball. Live on the ESPN app, Duke has won 6 of the last 8. The weirdest part of this rivalry has been the last 100 meetings are tied 50-50, and the teams are separated by 2 points.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's impossible.
That's incredible.
It's impossible.
Theo Pinson and Joel Berry should drive during that game. Duke has had a difficult time containing dribble penetration in man-to-man and when they've been in zone.
Yeah, there are some of those numbers we were talking about. Thursday, 8 Eastern time on ESPN. College Game Day. It's such a blockbuster. The Game Day crew will be there as well.
Nice.
As Miller steps in and knocks down the free throw, and Miami has got themselves a 14-9 advantage.
Are you part of the Game Day crew?
I'm not going to be there.
Don't worry. Me neither. We can hang out.
You want to watch? We'll be watching. I'm tuned in. No, I'm with Seth and Jay on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's plenty.
I love it.
Runner, that goes for Keyshawn Woods, who had 13 off the bench. One thing Wake can do, and we'll keep an eye on it, they can get points off their bench.
Instant offense off the bench is Keyshawn Woods.
13 against Clemson. Jaquan Newton comes in, the senior, wearing 0 on the uniform. And Jaquan had started so many of the games, but has been replaced by Likes. There's Lonnie Walker. He kicks it to Wardenberg for the 3. No good, and it's a rebound by Wake.
With this lineup on the floor for Wake, I think they've really got to look to push the basketball hard. They have 5 guys out there on the floor that can knock down a 3, and it should allow those guards to be able to get deep penetration to the rim.
Trying to isolate Olivier Sarr, and they get it to him, and a soft floater that goes over Miller.
Yeah, because Sarr is not strong enough yet to hold his position on the box, Danny Manning was imploring him in shoot-around today to turn and face. What a beautiful move right there. Very simple.
Walker for 3. Got it. Question a lot of Miami folks wonder, will Lonnie Walker even return for a sophomore season? He tore his meniscus beginning of the season and slowly but surely has developed a great level of confidence.
Part of that is you learning to trust whatever it was that you injured, and in his case, it was his knee.
Likes fouled by Childress. That'll be a 3 free throw foul. There's the great Danny Manning in his 4th season as the Wake Forest head coach. They're excited about the recruits they have coming in next season. And of course, they lost some terrific players in Mitiglu and Collins from last year's team. They've struggled against top 25 teams this season. In fact, their losing streak on the road against teams ranked in the top 25 is a 20-game losing streak on the road.
Mitiglu was a late departure. They actually thought they were going to have him in the system. He decided in August not to return. Took a 4-year, $2 million contract to play in his native land in Greece. Hard to turn that down. But that has certainly set back their front line.
Remember John Collins, and now he's getting it done at the next level. He scored 27 in a game last year in which Wake scored 96 points against Miami. I don't think Jim Larinaga has slept well since then. He keeps reminding us they scored 96 on us last year.
Now they're a different team, but they scored 96 on us. That's the one thing I noticed about this young team of Danny Manning's today is, usually this time of the year, especially as you're over the midway point in conference play, guys can kind of lose focus. And you particularly look at the freshmen, and they were dialed in and working hard today. I was really impressed by their focus.
Like 7 early points.
Give it to him.
Sunday Okiki is into the game too with the minutes that he will provide. He's a banger out there. He's getting back on defense's 34 as they drop it to Hugh, but an offensive foul against Likes. And Woods looked like he banged his tailbone, the first on Likes. We'll take a timeout. Under 12. Miami up by 7.
It's big-time players and clutch performers in the best college hoops rivalry. Duke, Carolina, Thursday at 8 on ESPN.
We're back. Alfonso Ellis, Carl Ravitch, Miami, hosting Wake Forest. Raul Moore with a foul stays on the bench as Wake Forest has Okeke and Sarr at the 4-5 positions. Sarr launches a 3, and that's way short. And the rebound to DeJuan Hewell.
Rav, when number 34 in black, Okeke sets that screen and he rolls, he is wide open. The guards have to deliver the basketball. Everything's complicated right now on the offensive end for Wake.
Missed layup by Wardenberg and a good pass from Jaquan Newton. Here's Woods. He drives and gets it to go.
That was created by the sprint, not a jog, but a sprint from Okeke down the middle, drew the defender in, which created that lane for him to attack the basket. Well done by 34 in black. His energy has impacted this game here early.
Out of Lagos, Nigeria.
That's where Hakeem Olajuwon is from.
Yes, it was. Huell demanded the ball and then missed a little bunny off the window. So cold shooting to start, really, for both teams. Huell hedges way out. We're going to get a charge called against.
And folks, watch number 34, Sunday Okeke in black here. Watch him sprint the lane. And because he sprints the lane, now they lose on the backside, and that is Woods attacking the basket there. That's why it's so important for bigs to sprint down the middle of the floor, because it creates confusion for the defense. Well executed there in transition by the Demon Deacons.
Olivier Sarr had that foul called against him on the pass. And now Darrell Moore back in on the floor. Midway through the first, Miami up by 5.
Little matchup zone here from Wake Forest. And they went to that because they've not been able to stop dribble penetration. Let's see if they can keep Miami out of the lane here.
Newton fadeaway short. And Miami's cold shooting continues. Childress worked himself right into the lane and gets it to go.
The confidence, he's not quite the scorer that his dad was, but his ability to be able to get in the lane, and he's making such great decisions when he gets there. He saw that the big was back underneath the rim, shot the floater. Well done, not going too deep by number 0 in black.
Dad Randolph Childress, of course, famous for what he did in the ACC tournament back in the mid-90s. And now an assistant coach here.
Lonnie Walker got away with the travel there.
Vasilovic, long three, friendly rim.
Sometimes it's just nice to play at home.
Dejan Vasilovic had 6 threes against Florida State back on January 27th. He had 20 points in the game and 6 of them on 3-point shots. 18 of those 20.
He's been hot over his last 3 games, 10 of 21 from 3. Got to find him and make him put it on the floor. Nice shot fake.
Yeah, you got Lonnie Walker in the air, and Walker stayed in the air and blocked the shot.
Could have had a little sip of hot chocolate up there. He was up there for a while.
He's a floater. Childress had it, and it went off of his foot. If you're going to be in the blip, this is a good place to do it. South Beach, aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Get ready for the best traction on and off the court. Get weather ready. Goodyear, more driven.
Bro, did you just see how the blimp took it to the rack? That's how you finish right there, boy.
Soft touch. Fonz, you once kind of dominated this area, didn't you?
Not dominated. I was a Coral Gables kind of guy.
You were a Coral Gables
Cocoa Plum, you know.
Cocoa Nut?
Well, that's me. Take the cocoa off.
Vasilovic launches another one,
shot.
and
That's
that
a
one
tough
was way
shot.
off.
I love the early push by Wake.
Keyshawn Woods trapped out there. He's a good shooter. How about that high arcer that somehow managed to go in and then out? Pretty nice touch by the freshman Chandu Brown. And a quick 3 from Miami. I'm not sure that's the offense Larinaga wants. What an effort to keep it alive by Vasilovic, who gets it to Walker. He may have tweaked his back there. He went up high and threw the ball as he was falling out of bounds. Take a look at it as we'll take a 30-second timeout. Vasilovic out of nowhere with a bounce pass to Walker for the finish. Don't hear them. Welcome back, everybody. 25-17. Carl Ravitch, LaFonso Ellis. Miami at home. They've won 35 of their last 38 here. They're 8-1 on the season. And a long 3 out of the timeout. corner jumper good by Brandon Childress.
What a beautiful play call coming out of the timeout. What created that one was a weak side screen on the who was guarding Childress down low, and that's how he was able to get that shot off. That was pretty.
Good deflection on defense by Woods. It's one of the things we were talking about in the studio with Seth Greenberg, these plays off of dead balls. Why that's not used or attempted to be used more often as a weapon. You should, it feels like, have a good play set up every time you have the ball out of a timeout.
Yeah, you want to score. The whole point of it is you want to score on every opportunity that you get.
There's a good hard take to the hole, and that's an important one. Jaquan Newton.
He's so good off the dribble. Not a great three-point shooter, but he's got that mid-range little pull-up game, little floater in the middle, and one of the best in the ACC at getting to the rack.
Had a really good game off the bench. He started the 20 games before the last couple in which he had come off the bench and really seemed to grow into that role in his last game where he played really well. He had 12 points against Virginia Tech in 24 minutes, hit 4 of 7 from the field.
And folks, watch as he fakes that little handoff there, and what happened is the defender jumped on the top side, opening up the baseline. What a great read there by Newton.
5 on the shot clock and a trap out top with Walker and Lawrence. And there's a turnover. Good defense by Miami. 5th turnover for Wake Forest. And Jaquan Newton feeling it with the left. He couldn't get it to go. And a push by Childress and Wake.
Got numbers.
Crawford, spot 3. Too strong.
Looked like he was going to raise
Wide
that one.
open underneath Vasilovic. I think he lulled the Wake Forest defense into thinking just like you were. He's going to shoot that.
Well, the communication on the backside wasn't there. Mitchell, number 2 in black, was yelling at his teammate, Sean Day Brown, number 23, to take the basketball, and he didn't. That's what opened up that shot underneath.
Largest lead of the night for Miami with 5:57 to go. They are up by 9. You take a look at the skyline. We remind everybody, we got 2 blockbusters Saturday as well, 4 Eastern time. It's a good one. Top 5 matchup. Number 3 Purdue. They've been great. Number 4 Michigan State. It's in East Lansing. And of course, it's available on the ESPN app. How about Purdue and Matt Painter? Since their struggles in the Bahamas early, they've been lights out.
Yeah, 4 guys around 1 in Haas who all shoot 40+ from the three-point line. That's going to be a very difficult matchup for Michigan State.
No contact on the Lawrence drive. That should be a big defensive battle underneath, too, with the big fellas from both teams. Looking forward to that Saturday at 4. There's another dunk for Darrell Moore.
65 now, I think, on the season.
And about 60% of his baskets have been on dunks. He's got a good low post game, especially from the left block when they get it to him. Likes uses the screen, then he gets trapped out top. Kick to Lonnie Walker for 3. Got it. Lonnie Walker was the last guy on the basketball court today before we did that interview with him.
And Rab, the help defense was really good, but whenever a dribbler picks up the basketball, now you have to fan out. When he picked that basketball up, 3 guys from Wake Forest stayed around him. That's what opened up that weak side pass.
Walker must have taken an extra 50 to 60 shots.
Yes.
Free throws included at the end of practice this morning at the shoot-around.
We watched him hit 10 straight threes from that right corner.
There's a steal and a battle for it. And we're going to get a shot clock violation.
And folks, watch the ball handler here as he comes into the paint area. See how many black shirts are around him? Once he picks that basketball up, you got to sprint to find open shooters. They don't. Lonnie Walker buries a 3 from the left corner. Big mistake there by Wake Forest.
Lonnie Walker has 11 early points, and you can see his points per game are almost 18 now. He's a good free throw shooter. He has raised his game in conference play a little bit. His like separates himself from the defender. And we're going to get a foul against Miami. They're going to call that on Ibuka Izundu. That's his first. Likes isn't afraid as a point guard to create his own shot, is he?
No. Explosive out there with the basketball in his hands. Confident scorer. But I think the area of his game that he's really grown in, Raph, early on this season, he was going down in the painted area trying to take on all these trees. And I think after getting this sent back to him a couple times and taking some bad shots, he's really settled down in that area. When he gets in the paint, he pauses for a second, see if the shot's there, but he's looking to dish it more often. I love his growth and his decision-making in the paint.
Averages just about 8. He's got 7 points already. 3. That one is good. Good shot from the corner, too. It was a two-man game between Crawford and Childress. Presented itself in the corner.
Yeah, for Wake to win this game, I think Brown and Crawford have to have big games to carry them on the offensive end. So far, both guys off to a good start.
Vasilovic got away with a push-off. No, he didn't. He extended that right arm, and he pushed away Crawford, and he got called for it. We'll take a timeout. Miami up by 7. Looking for their 7th conference win.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by AstraZeneca.
we know of the 13-hour odyssey. That we do know of for sure. Yeah, I had to pry Fonz away from the pool today. That was a challenge.
Come on, Dallin. I used to live a mile and a half from here, man. I'm back in my stomping grounds a little bit. Had a little Pollo Tropical today. Good day for me, man.
Pollo Tropical.
Yes, sir.
Fonz, what's good? Pollo Tropical.
That's right.
That's like the chicken version of, like, what, Wendy's? Like, what is Pollo Tropical?
It might be the Miami version of like a Popeyes.
Goodness. You saw some of those numbers there as Moore picks up his 2nd foul. He'll go to the bench. And for Wake Forest, they haven't had a free throw attempt yet. You got some big boys and some bodies there. How about driving the ball, get some free throws?
Yeah, and that's a point of emphasis for Danny Manning today because of how well guys like Brian Crawford shoot from the foul line. He's 90% on the year. He's usually averaging around 6 or 7 free throw attempts a game. Not so much tonight.
Lawrence 3 way off to the right. That's the 2nd time the backboard's been hit hard on a 3 from Miami.
That ball rolled off the right side of his finger.
Woo! Big block there at the rim by DeJuan Huell.
See how quickly he reacted? Wow.
Here's a guy who can tell you about local restaurants. In fact, he serves that role for the Miami team as somebody who grew up here. And now he gets the ball down low, and he may have hurt his ankle. And he's limping back, and that's a problem for Miami as Huell is limping, and they're going to have to take him out of the game.
Yeah, he's running. Oh, boy.
He goes right to the end of the bench to sit down.
Yeah, I would unstring it and then tie that thing up as tightly as possible to keep that inflammation from running down in that ankle. Wonder if he came down on the foot. Let's see here.
Yep, that's
exactly.
ouch. So DeJuan Huell, the center, leaves with what appears to be an ankle sprain of some kind. Rolled it.
Let's hope he'll be okay.
And Izundu's going to get some more time as he gets the ball and uses his left to get it to go.
Tell you what, I love the way Anthony Lawrence plays. Number 3 in white. Shoots the 3, can play with his back to the basket. And though he's not been getting many touches, we've seen him shoot an air ball, he can just play the game. Drew a little extra defender over there and dropped that underneath. I love the way he plays. Oh, that's a goaltend.
Yeah, we're going to get a goaltend. Exactly. Count the basket.
Folks, watch Anthony Lawrence as he attacks the baseline here. He keeps it simple. He gets past his guy, draws a second. There's a little crease. What a beautiful pass over the top. And we watched them in shoot-around this morning. They work on those passes all the time. What a nice, soft delivery over the top to his big man, Izundu.
Fonz, last minute, 34-29. How would you describe the first half?
It's been a little bit disjointed, actually. Poor shooting, turnovers, mishandles.
And yet a close game right now.
Yet a close game.
Likes long three. That's short, and the rebound goes to Miami with less than a minute to play.
Those plays can really crush your psyche when you get up an offensive rebound after playing long possession of defense.
Walker and Zundu, a two-man game. And there's the dish and a foul called. Donovan Mitchell picks up his second. Lanny Zundu out of Charlotte, North Carolina, goes to the line.
He signed with Charlotte U, then reopened his recruiting after Allen Major stepped down. And that was a good pickup for Miami. Gives them some much needed depth across that front line. Really sprints in transition, gets on the offensive glass, and got to the point now where you can give it to him on the box and he can make a nice little move over his right shoulder to score with his left hand. Been really impressed with his development as well.
Only a 42% free throw shooter, Font. The first one looked really smooth.
Well, with the way a couple guys have shot some backboard shots from the three-point line, maybe the backboard's a little crooked over there.
A little long on the second one, but we're going to get a foul on Lawrence, who was protesting, but took a couple of whacks at the ball, and the second one freed it up.
Oh, boy.
His first. Ball. Fonz?
Yeah, he got a little shoulder there.
What?
With that right. Yes. Come on, man. You know you're not wearing your glasses tonight. I got you.
10-second difference, game clock, shot clock, 15 on the shot.
Nice pass.
Really good. Olivier Sarr gets it to go with the left, and we got 10 seconds. And Lonnie Walker pushing. And he had to go off of his foot. He was going probably, it felt like maybe a little too quickly with 10 to go. And Lonnie can get up and down in about 3 seconds.
Yes, he can. Sometimes your body's going more quickly than you dribble, and you just lose control of the ball. That's exactly what happened there.
Fonz, it's a 4-point game with 6 seconds to go. Wake Forest will feel really good regardless going into the half, whether it's 4 or fewer.
Especially on the road.
On the road and haven't played terrifically. Childress kicks it, 3. That's off, and that's how it'll end. Lonnie's got 11 on 4 of 6, and he's hit 2 3-point shots. Miami hasn't lost when they've led at the half. They are 12-0. You never lose at the half when you can send it back to the studio. Crean, Cuff, and Adnan Burke. Guys, take it away. ESPN's Rivalry Week. It's presented by Wendy's. We are in Miami, Florida, home of the Hurricanes. And right now they get a 4-point lead over Wake Forest. Winston-Salem in North Carolina, 35-31. LaFonso Ellis and Carl Ravitch, welcome back, everyone. You think about Miami and you think about Lonnie Walker, and it seems like every time he's on national television, he's doing something special. He's doing something special again.
He's been magnificent. When I think of Miami, I think of palm trees, but we'll add Lonnie Walker too. And he's shown us a little bit of all of his game tonight, the ability to attack the rack, hang in the air. And this is the area of his game that I didn't think he had arrived yet, but certainly he has. But he's so good when he's hanging around the rim. He's had such explosiveness and elevation. A guy that got off to a slow start in the season due to a meniscus tear, he has arrived now. Now his 8th straight double-figure scoring game.
He's 4 of 6 from the field. The rest of the team is 9 of 24. And for Wake Forest, they've got to try to draw some contact. This was the first half all season in which they didn't attempt a free throw. And they start off with an alley-oop that is too high for Darrell Moore. There's Walker, he launches a 3, and it's around and out. And Vasiljevic with the rebound, and he puts up a little jump hook. How about Dejan Vasiljevic, or DJ as he's known here, with 2 offensive rebounds.
He's shown a little bit of everything this year. People know him primarily as a 3-point sniper, but didn't really, nice move there by Darrell. Way to nice seal him on the top. But DJ Vasiljevic, he had shot the ball so well. Everybody was like, okay, Then he started driving it to the basket, and everyone was like, whoa, we didn't know he had that in this game, but he had been doing it in practice all along.
Right.
So now he's comfortable doing in games what he does day in and day out in practice.
Good news for Miami. Dwan Huell, who limped off the floor with that ankle roll, back in, and there's a steal. And they'll push it, and boy, a turnover. Frustration for Wake Forest, as that one went off the foot of Chandi Brown.
Folks, watch DJ Vasilovic down there, only 6'3", but battling down on the interior, pulls that one down with one hand. And what I love about him, he has a good awareness of where he is on the floor. And watch this pretty ball movement here. 3 passes around the horn, in the paint, drop step, dunk. Danny Manning will take that all night long.
Vasilovic picked his dribble up, and he has to kick it back out to Chris Likes. Likes the drive, and he doesn't get it to go, but he picks up the foul. He hit the ground hard. How about the tenacity of Likes? Not afraid to go in amongst the trees.
Wow. How about the explosion to turn the corner? My goodness.
He talked about his size being an advantage, not a disadvantage, that his speed and being lower to the ground allows him to dribble through those trees, as well as be a defensive whiz on the other side, take the ball away when the ball hits the ground.
Yeah, he's had a tendency to play too fast at times, but over the last 3 or 4 games or so, he's really settled in. I talked about in the first half about how he would get in the lane early on, trying to challenge all the bigs. Wasn't successful at it. Now he gets in the paint. He's been making really good reads, whether to shoot or make the pass.
Or double
Good
team.
skip.
They moved it. Good pass. And a miss on the interior. Boy, Terrence Thompson.
And that's where he struggles, Rav. Has a really tough time scoring inside, especially with a wing.
We're going to get a foul on Huell.
How about that sportsmanship? How about this one here? Pretty pass underneath. Huell bobbles that thing, so missed the pass and now makes the foul over the top. Almost tried to hurdle Crawford there.
Little game of horse between he and Brian Crawford.
Indeed.
Here's a bad pass and a steal, and here comes Lawrence. Behind the back pass and a little too fancy, and Larrañaga's right in the face of Likes, and he's coming out of the game.
Yes, he is.
Huell can't get that jump hook to go. That was a bad pass, and it was a bad place for a bad pass when your coach is 6 inches away from you. Brown knocks down the 3.
Well, we talked about in the first half how many opportunities that Wake Forest could take advantage of in transition, because again, Miami at times has a tough time getting back and getting matched up, and I like when Wake Forest is playing with pace. It was beautifully done there in transition.
Vasilovic forced 3, and that one was blocked. And now Wake Forest has a chance to tie or grab the lead. Their last lead was 7-6. There's a foul on a 3, and it doesn't go, but we're going to get 3 free throws for Bryant Crawford. NBA doubleheader tips off your weekend. Blake Griffin, and how about the Pistons with Blake Griffin on the team? 7 Eastern time. Looks like they're going to sign some of their players that other teams were interested in. Jimmy Butler faces his former team when the T-Wolves take on the Bulls. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Blake Griffin couldn't fit more perfectly with the Detroit Pistons because now he's been able to extend his range out to 3. He's an excellent passer from the high post as well. What a great pickup for the Pistons.
This will be the first free throws of the night for Wake Forest. It didn't come on a drive to the basket. Instead, came on a Bryant Crawford 3-point attempt. Crawford had 24 earlier this season against Boston College. And he and Likes were teammates at Gonzaga College High in the DC area.
Doesn't miss too many of those. 90% free throw shooter on the year. He's increased he really wanted that to be a point of emphasis because of how often he gets that rap. 68% freshman year, 83% sophomore year, 90% this year.
And he missed the first two, and both, especially the second, halfway down and out. So Likes goes to the bench. Had an interesting chat. Last time Dick Vitale and I were here for that Louisville game, and Lonnie Walker took over. Likes had a great first half, didn't play in the second half. And I asked him, why didn't you have Likes in that game? And he said, well, Jaquan Newton was playing really good defense, and we needed defense in that game. He said a lot of times people look at the substitutions and consider it sort of a slight on Likes, when in fact it was a compliment to the defender, Newton, which I thought was a different way to look at it. I had not, and I know I was talking with other ESPN folks about why Likes wasn't in the game. It was a good answer as to why.
Yeah, the thing is, we tend to look at basketball, particularly from an offensive standpoint. Very few look at it from a defensive standpoint. And when you got as many scorers on the floor as Miami has, you can afford to take an aggressive scorer off the floor like Likes, bring a defensive guy on, and still really not lose anything because of how explosive they are in the other four positions.
A good point. 38-37. Miami on top of Wake Forest. 16:29 to go. Wake Forest has some interesting numbers around the 2 and 9. They have played better and outscored their opponent in about 17 of their 23 games in the second half. And they have led 17 games in the second half, or at some point ended up losing the game.
Well, they were up 1, under 4 against Clemson in the last game, and struggled to come up with a field goal during that time.
They have just not been able to close games. Miami's been very good doing that at home. 8-1 on the season. Vasilovic, that's blocked, and there's a rebound, and Huell with a flush.
Yeah, if you don't get a body on Huell, he is excellent at running from the top or the weak side of the floor. Has excellent timing to dunk those basketballs in. Wake Forest got to get a body on number 22 in white.
Sarr, high arcing three, doesn't even get to the rim, but there is more to clean it up.
That was a really nice pass.
They've worked on that too. Newton got hung up in the air, and he's able to find Lawrence. Huell had it picked. Crawford one-on-one, gets it to go with his contact, but no foul.
It's going to be a delay of game call. Crawford hit that ball out of his hands, and if it's not, it should be.
Referees will discuss it, and we'll find out what happens when we come back. 41-40, Wake.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Infinity, Empower the Drive, and Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. We packed our signature Big Burger flavor you love into our new charbroiled sliders.
Technical foul called against Bryant Crawford after he made that layup. He then reached in, and you'll see it after DJ Vasilovic, an 86% free throw shooter, shoots the one technical, and Miami will then take the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, folks, when the ball is out of bounds, watch after he lays this in. Now, basketball's out of bounds, and he slaps it out of his hands. You just can't do that. And now, all of a sudden, Danny Manning has to pull him out of the game, and it takes away the momentum that they had established. That's the first time they've been up in a long time in this game. That could be a pivotal point in this game.
Ranked team struggling a little tonight. Virginia down, Villanova down, Miami down, but not after that three from DJ Vasilovic. Maybe circle that technical foul and see if that's a turning point in this game. Vasilovic has been red hot. He's about a 40% three-point shooter.
10 of his last 21 from 3 coming into this game.
He's Indu now in and Huell out. See if they get that ball to Moore. He's underneath. He's battling for it. He gets it. And he lays it up and in. Good play by Doral Moore.
Wow, way not to give up on the play inside, using that length to come up with that basketball inside. His improvement from last year to this year has been vast.
Darrell Moore, who grabs the rebound there, came in as a more highly recruited player than John Collins. John Collins flat out outworked him, and perhaps Moore recognized, wow, if I put in the effort that Collins put in, perhaps I could turn that into an NBA career.
Yeah, if I want more, I got to do more. And he was getting busy down there. And I love when he's actively involved on the offensive end. A guy with that kind of length should really control the offensive glass. That's a good possession there from Mr. Moore.
Hoop scoop, as he's the only member of his immediate family not in the military.
I think size may have played a part in that. Can you imagine him in an Army uniform? Navy?
Pretty intimidating. Wouldn't mind walking into a foxhole with Darrell Moore behind me. I'd be all right with that.
That's right.
John D. Brown, another one of those Wake Forest free throw shooters, struggling a little bit in spite of a near 90% free throw number this season. Wide open Walker, in and out. Offensive board goes to Newton, and he's going to get fouled. They're going to call that one on Brandon Childress. He picks up his second.
Ralph, remember back in the day when we would have a numbered break, meaning it's like 3-on-2, 4-on-3, 2-on-1, and we used to run to the rim? See how these days they run
Peel
to the three-point line?
Yeah. Peel off.
Yeah, it's a new generation of basketball, man. I'll tell you what, and with that being Lonnie Walker running the lane on the left side, I would have loved to see him run to the rim and get an oop. Because again, with a 44-44 game, every single point is valuable.
Lawrence, good move out top, and he'll get fouled. He'll go to the free throw line just into the game. Donovan Mitchell. Gonna call that on Moore. He picks up his third foul. So 3 fouls on Darrell Moore, 13:42 to go in the game, and a 44-44 tie.
I'd love to be able to see that one again. I didn't think Moore fouled there. I thought that was the guard coming over.
I thought it was Mitchell myself. These are types of games, you know, you're looking at the calendar about midway through the conference. Yeah. You're at home. Yeah. You're playing a 2-9 team. Mm-hmm. If you want that double bye, you want to maintain your position, you got to win. You got to protect, right?
No, there's no question about it. And the energy from the Miami Hurricanes has just not been there consistently, especially on the defensive end. Transition defense hasn't been there, and then their weak side rotations haven't been consistent either.
Free throw shooting, which oftentimes comes back to haunt you in tight tournament games. They're ranked 327th in the country in free throw shooting. They just missed 2 there. They're getting a foul on Newton out top.
And Ravi, on those high ball screens, Miami's starting to do a really nice job of taking away the roll guy. So the guard coming off to the right side has to look back to the far wing. That is wide open. Shonde Brown was open for days over there. So they've got to make the adjustment now that Miami's made the adjustment to take the roller away.
Sunday Okeke's back into the game, and another foul. The referee's calling a little tighter in the second half. DJ Vasiljevic picks up his third foul.
And Okeke didn't score in that first half, but I love the energy that he brought to the game. He created a lot of offensive opportunities for his teammates, surely by running the floor hard, screening and rolling to the rim hard as well. He's got some long arms on him, doesn't he?
He does. He doesn't usually get a lot of playing time, but with the 3 on Moore, Okeke's getting some time here tonight. And as you said, when he rolls, he's open. 6 on the shot clock. And the drive high arcing shot, no good. Wardenberg had it, and it's instead tipped into the hands of Donovan Mitchell, who thought about a 3. But a fresh clock for Wake Forest. Childress.
Overhandling it right now.
In trouble, gets out of trouble. Newton saw a lane. We're going to get a foul on the floor on Mitchell.
And Ravi, that's something, as much as I love this Miami team, that's something that I don't understand why they don't do more either. turnovers, missed shots. I think they should be out. They have speedsters at the point guard position, whether it be Newton or Likes, and guys who can sprint down the middle of the floor like a Zundu and get out on the wings like Lonnie Walker. Sometimes I think their advance is a little too slow. They can get some easier baskets in transition by pushing.
Newton off the inbounds pass, too strong. And Zundu got thrown to the floor.
I thought that should have been a foul on Okeke.
Sluggish start to the second half. Feels like it's been about 4 or 5 minutes since we've seen a ball go through the basket. A field goal attempt. Childress, though, he gets a nice move and gets that layup to go to give Wake Forest a 2-point advantage.
Yeah, he curled that screen over there, had his guy trailing him, and that's a great read there. Hesitated to freeze the defense and then the burst to the rim. Well done by number 0 in black. I don't understand why more teams don't post Likes either, you know?
Long three from Likes, that's way off, and that won't sit well with the head coach, Jim Larinaga. Did we have an ice storm here in Miami inside the building? There's a lot of slipping and falling.
Yeah.
Balls being kicked out of bounds. Nice. Ball movement, corner 3, a little long. And Wardenberg wins the battle. And the ball is on the floor. We're going to get a foul from behind. They're going to call it on Chandi Brown.
Folks, Childress, not quite the scorer his dad was, but he's so savvy when he gets into the painted area. Beautifully curls this thing, trailing. And how about the burst to get through the ground? The young Childress getting busy here for the Demon Deacons.
Welcome back, Brandon the Son Randolph, the associate head coach here for Wake Forest. Brandon was growing up. Randolph never pushed him to Wake Forest. In fact, Brandon had a few other schools interested in him, but in the end it was Wake Forest that was willing to give him the scholarship to have him come play. But Brandon will tell you, his dad never forced him into playing or coming to Wake Forest. As Wardenberg comes back, launches a 3, and he knocks it down.
Brandon Childress is a steadying influence on this team. An excellent playmaker off the bounce.
Wardenberg breaks what was a 3-minute and 50-second scoring drought. We're going to get a foul on Okeke. So you mentioned the dad. How about that move? And then watch him look at Jeff McGinnis like, dude, I'm over here. I'm knocking it down.
That's awful.
37 points in that championship ACC game.
He caught up with Alfonso.
That was an 82-80 victory and one of the ankle breakers of all time.
Jeff McGinnis was my teammate when I played for the Denver Nuggets, and I used to tease him about that exact play. I think he's still on the ground.
There's some contact by Mitchell, who slams the ball down in frustration with himself. He's just played sparingly, and he's picked up 4 fouls.
He's going to be a really good player, but just a sophomore, just needs to put on some strength. And sometimes when you're young that way, Ravi, you pick up fouls because you're out of position. And so he did a good job of containing, but now all of a sudden the cylinder rule comes in play. You cannot move into the cylinder of the offensive player. That was a good call by the official.
Just to finish up the Randolph Childress in that ACC title game in which he was so dominant. You forget that in the quarters against Duke, he had 40, and in the semis against Virginia, he had 30.
Wow.
I mean, he exploded in that ACC tournament. 3 games you'll never forget. Went on to a long NBA career as well. Free throw, good from Newton. And the lead for Miami now 3. Walker's on the bench. He's got 11. He hasn't scored in the second half. They haven't had a fast break point. And Likes got banged a little bit by Childress. He's up in his mug, and he gets the call. And that will sit well with the head coach, Jim Larinaga, as Childress picks up his 3rd. What effort on defense.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to kind of pick up a little flop. That is not a good call. That's a flop. He sold it well, though. So you got to give him credit for his acting classes.
And I appreciate his strength, but it probably doesn't take a ton to knock him over.
He's a little stocky dude, though. He's got some thighs and
he's got
glutes
those
now.
legs, no doubt. Newton working down low. It almost looked like his own guy, Wardenberg, came in to foul him, but instead he'll go to the free throw line as we continue. Looking down, our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the champions who never act like they've arrived. They just keep driving. They're blimp-worthy. Goodyear is more driven.
I'm disappointed that there was no celebration after that sick dunk from the blimp.
You're all in the blimp making its bucket.
I love the blimp. Both teams have left a few there on the line here. Let's see if that comes back and bites one of these teams in the end.
Miami 11 of 17 from the free throw line tonight.
Ravi, what's worked so well for Wake Forest, when they've not been able to get out in transition in the half court, they've been able to get some ball screens and reverse the basketball and then drive it. They've got to get back to that, getting in the paint off the drive after the reversal.
Newton Crawford had a little exchange of words after that foul was called on Jaquan Newton. Very difficult to guard closely with that new rule that you talked about with that cylinder. You really can't invade space. Three-pointer knocked down Crawford. He liked that one, and he and Newton continue to jaw at each other.
Another one created by a vicious roll to the basket by Okeke.
Buell backs him down, gets the sky hook to go.
It's a little Charles Barkley move right there. Backing him down, taking his time, and that's what we talked about in the first half. He loves that little hook over his left shoulder. Well executed by Buell.
Okeke has a physical size to him that no one else on the floor does. And there's another one banged from the outside. They're going to call it a 2 from Keyshawn Woods.
Really nice screen by Terrence Thompson, number 20 in black, to create that opening.
Wake Forest with a 3 and a 2. And one of those teams you don't want to have hang around, especially on the road. As that one drops, give them a little confidence. Last couple of minutes, anything can happen.
Yeah, Newton, watch Newton, folks. Number 0 in white. He and Crawford, 13 in black, have been jawing quite a bit lately.
There's a foul on the baseline, and that's going to go against Anthony Lawrence. That's his second. I think the referees feel that too. There's a little chippiness in this game all of a sudden.
Yeah, and they're going to have to get it under control here. And it all started when Crawford slapped that basketball out of his hand. I'm sure he said something to him because it was a sick layup at the basket. They're going to have to get those two under control here. Keyshawn Woods, the junior transfer from Charlotte, led the Conference USA in three-point field goal percentage at 47%. Had been a starter, but they need a little bit of lift off of the bench, and he's certainly been able to provide that.
83% free throw shooter. Got a chance to bring it back to 1 at the 8:16 mark. Lonnie Walker re-enters the game for Miami. Scoreless in the second half, 11 in the game. Woods goes to the bench. Chandi Brown, the freshman out of Orlando, Florida. His family has made the ride here to Miami from Orlando. Get a one-point game, Fonz, with 8 to go.
We do. A little horns action coming here. A little double ball screen at the top. First guy's going to dive, and then Vandenberg's going to stay on the perimeter.
Newton couldn't get it to go, and you're right. He and Crawford have a little one-on-one thing going as well. Childress to the rack. That was affected by Wardenberg, and Buell collects.
I thought Childress should have taken one more bounce And that would have gotten into some clean air.
Likes to the hole. Contact at the rim. He hits the ground hard. And that's a foul on Moore. Under 8 to go. On a nice night in Miami and a good game developing. 1 point. Florida State at home, Villanova at home. And you take a look at the projected seeding in the ACC according to Joe Lunardi. You got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5 for Miami right now. Louisville and Florida State there at 8. NC State and Virginia Tech at 12. He's speculating a Virginia Tech loss will get Syracuse in at least tonight. There's a steal from Likes and a throwdown from Newton.
How unselfish of Likes to give that ball to his streaking teammate.
Important part of the game, up by 5 with 7 to go, and the crowd gets into it.
Crawford's got to get involved here.
3 is way off, and Huell picks up the rebound.
Lonnie Walker has been awfully quiet here in the second half after having 11 in the first.
0 for 4 from the field in the second half. That's how quiet he's been. Wardenberg 3. Corner good! That was a design play, and Likes threw it all the way across the court to Wardenberg, who earned playing time by playing better in practice.
Absolutely. Watch the burst through the ball here by Likes to give his team some much-needed momentum. Unselfish play back to Newton. And how about this perfectly designed play? Wardenberg, 3 ball from the left corner.
Back here at the U, and it's Miami on a 7-0 run. They've opened up a 61-53 lead over Wake Forest. Wake Forest inbounds to Al Moore. The big fella is on the bench with 4 fouls as we are at 6.5 to go in the game. You got a mismatch with Crawford being guarded by Likes. See if they take advantage of that. Woods down low to Okeke. Sarr threw it up, doesn't get it to go, but there's a rebound and a foul and a basket. They call the foul on Huell. Bucket made by the freshman Chandi Brown.
And there was no one on his side of the basket. Watch as that basketball comes off the rim. There's no one in his space. And now he's able to grab it. What a nice shot fake to get Huell off balance there and the strength to finish it. I mean, folks, that's just a freshman there. He's got a senior's body.
That's a big play, and they sent him to the line. He is a 90% free throw shooter, but that's only his 23rd free throw this season. Another one Danny Manning would love to see drive the ball more. You mentioned it. He's got a body of a junior or a senior.
Yeah, the last 6 minutes of this game for Wake Forest, 13 in black and 23 in black have to carry the offense.
Newton clears space for himself. No foul, but he gets the bucket. And a big play by Jaquan Newton. Runner from Crawford doesn't go, and how about Huell grabbing that defensive board?
And watch Wardenberg here.
There's Walker. He hits a 3, and they've gotten hot here lately and now have a 10-point lead.
And Ravi, that's the area of the game that we said that Wake Forest had to take away. They're averaging 11 made threes per game over the last 3.
There's a block by Huell. Brown gets it to go, and a good job. His second offensive rebound, Chandi Brown. And good hustle there as well, but instead, loose ball goes to Walker. Sam Wardenberg is a real interesting story. He played early and played well, and then he lost his confidence.
Yes.
And it was in practice where Jim Larinaga said, just do the simple things.
Yeah.
He had 2 practices. He had no turnovers. He had a 3rd practice. He had 1 turnover, and he started to develop that confidence. He's playing big minutes now. 3 goes around and out for Newton.
I think Wake's got to continue to push the basketball here. There's Crawford. I thought he should have taken that shot.
Standing drives. Likes gets fouled. I should say Likes with the foul. And that hurt a little bit.
And folks, watch the beautiful ball movement here by Miami. A little throwback pass there. Wardenberg attacks the green area and a little quick, little nice pass over to the right wing. And Jaquan Newton, boy, a little change of speed, change direction, just froze Olivier Sarr. And able to get to the basket and finish through contact. Well, I love when number 0 is attacking off the bounce. He's one of the best guards in this league in getting to the rim and finishing.
Ryan Crawford, that right wrist was hit hard, and he's been flexing it. We'll see if it affects his free throw shooting, and it may have. Chris Likes hammered that wrist, and he missed that free throw. Sonic Blockbuster Thursday, 8 Eastern time. It's Duke and North Carolina, and that's really all you need to say. Duke, North Carolina, played at Chapel Hill. And we'll see, as we heard Coach Crean say, who's going to guard Luke May. Crawford's 2nd free throw, good.
It'll most likely be Marvin Bagley III. He's the one that has a little bit more athleticism to be able to cover out on the perimeter. But Duke should pound that North Carolina team on the offensive glass.
They left Wardenberg open, and he knocks down a 3. May not show up in the box score, but Sam Wardenberg has been great tonight for Miami. 10-point advantage. There's a kick. Woods, that's a 2, and it goes.
What a beautiful shot fake there by Woods.
Moore and Mitchell are both back on the floor, each with 4 fouls for Wake Forest. They need a defensive stand.
Use that double high screen again. Wardenberg's going to pop. Most often, Huell dives.
Newton, nice play, kisses it off the window. Miami's shooting percentage is ticking up here in the last 8 minutes.
How good is he when he gets below that foul line? Beautiful touch.
Moore had it, lost it, and Wardenberg comes up with it.
Yeah, he never looked the basketball into his hand. He turned before the basketball got there, and that's why he didn't secure it.
Another one of these games, Wake Forest was in late, now down 10. Likes from way downtown, knocks it down. And the largest lead of the night, 74-61.
And Ravi, the one thing that Wake had to take away from Miami is their made threes, and Miami has been hot from the three-point line the last few possessions.
Crawford launched a 3, Newton fouled him. Chris Likes and Miami head to the bench, but they are up with 2:20 to go by 13.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's Hamburgers, made with fresh, never frozen beef.
In Jerome, he was the man at Virginia against Louisville with a couple of threes late. It doesn't necessarily look pretty, but boy, it's effective.
Yes, it is. Advantageous having a 6'5" point guard who can see over the defense, whether it be in a full court trapping situation or half court.
Wake Forest free throws, down 12. The story of the game in a lot of ways has been the three-point shooting for Miami here in the second half.
Well, we talked about in the open that for Wake Forest to pull this game off, they could not turn the basketball over. 13 in this game so far, and they had to limit the three-point opportunities from Miami. Miami was 3 of 10 in the first half, 6 of 12 here in the second half, and that's really been the difference in the last 10 minutes of this game.
There's a break for Wake Forest. Huell fell out of bounds, and they're going to give the ball to Wake Forest after they made 2 free throws. So now they got a chance with the ball, and 2 minutes to go. They'll go a long 3 out of the break. And how about Crawford burying one?
There's our guy Crawford, one of the guys that we talked about for Wake Forest to get back in this game. He had to take over on the offensive end. He and 23 in black Let's see if they can get a couple stops here and make a couple baskets on the offensive end. They've got to take away the three, though, force them to take tough twos.
Lonnie Walker gets that screen. He'll go cross court. The kick to Lawrence with 5 on the shot clock. Newton spinning. He's going to have a tough shot. No foul. And that didn't hit the rim, but there's no violation. Crawford again. Long and strong, and that one, oh, there's a foul on the head, and Crawford knows he made a mistake. He goes to Huell to apologize. That may have been a big chance right there. 74-66 with the ball, Fonz, and a three-point shot misses. That was rushed.
And typically, it's okay if you take that transition three when you have offensive rebounders on the glass. When he shot that basketball, there were very few black jerseys below the foul line. That's a tough shot to make there. And you don't give yourself a chance for a second chance point.
Right. 71% free throw shooter, Duan Huell. That one is long, and it doesn't go in. A&M and Auburn coming up next. Bruce Pearl's team, wary of what's going on around the country with the top-ranked teams. And then Sports Center later this evening. Stan and Neil follow Spurs and Suns. They'll ask what the chances the Cavs make a move ahead of the Thursday 3 p.m. Eastern trade deadline. Harden and the Rockets after the 6th straight win, and Barry Melrose one-on-one with the Vegas head coach Gerard Gallant. How good has Vegas been? Crazy. Sports Center tonight, 1 a.m. Eastern time, also on the ESPN app. And how about first year you go off and win a Stanley Cup maybe in Vegas?
Nice.
90 seconds and down 9. They finally free up a 3, and that one hits the side of the backboard, but there's Moore who does what he does. He flushes it down, and Wake and Danny Manning will get a timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Lead 7 with a $1:16 on the clock. 75-68, Miami trying to protect and win their 9th in 10 at home this season. 3-point shooting the difference. Sam Wardenberg, by the way, had 4 threes in his career. He's got 3 in this game.
Yeah, it's been raining here in the second half. They were only 3 of 10 from 3 in the first half. Wake Forest doing a great job, but then all of a sudden dribble penetration and having the help, not handling that high ball screen well, has allowed Miami to run off 6 of 12 here in the second half, and that's been the difference here for the Hurricanes.
One of the Achilles heels for Miami has been their free throw shooting, and you got to believe they're going to be going to the line quite a bit here in the last minute 16.
Only 66% from the line.
Floor issue, so we'll take another timeout. So Miami Fonz with the players, the size with Huell, the Walker athleticism. Does the free throw shooting prevent you from committing to them, or other things as far as a second weekend tournament team?
Well, I think they can win the first round. Now, the second round depends on if Bruce Brown is back. If Bruce Brown is back and healthy, I think it's a team that can make a run to the Sweet 16. My concern about this team, as I've mentioned to you, Rev, I've seen them on tape and I've seen them live now here, is they have the firepower on the offensive end. I just question when they get against a team who can really move the basketball and are disciplined on the offensive end, their transition defense needs to be improved, and also their weak side rotations need improvement as well, both which could spell doom when they get to the NCAA tournament.
Right, no doubt. Here's the foul. They're going to send Lawrence to the line. And Anthony Lawrence is right around their team average, 67%. You mentioned Brown. He had surgery on his left foot, and he is going to be out about 6 weeks. Virginia, Tuesday, ESPN2 should be a terrific game. I know you'll be here for that. They go to the road, take on Notre Dame, and they're going to play at North Carolina. This weekend on the ACC network, they'll be at Chestnut Hill taking on Boston College. The first free throw good from Lawrence.
In my estimation, the only challenging game there that they have is really that North Carolina game. And I know they've recently played against Virginia Tech. Notre Dame they should beat without Bonzie Colson, obviously. So they could actually run off about 4 or 5 straight here at the end of the season.
And the Virginia game's a challenging.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
No question. Some things are just obvious and just don't need to be said.
Said Captain Obvious. There's a big three and another one to keep this game within fighting distance. It's 6.
Full court
Walker's
pressure.
going to get fouled.
Yes.
It is without question the most recognizable trait, the hair of Lonnie Walker. I asked him about that earlier today.
It's kind of its own man at this point. I used to take care of it and kind of twist it up, and then once I got to Miami, the humidity and everything kind of just took its own course. So I still have to wash it and then put it in a ponytail and stuff like that. It takes about an hour, but it's pretty creative.
Yes, indeed
awesome.
It is creative.
The humidity got to mine, too. Mine's gone. What an exceptional kid, huh?
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Really impressive.
He doesn't even watch other sports. You know, he just really concentrates on this thing. He's a Net Geo kind of guy. Oh!
Foul on Walker, and perhaps with the knee, he got Childress on the body.
Now, Ravi, that was a foul. But did you see how high he was off the floor? Watch this, folks. Oh, my gosh. And like I said, his ability to hang up there for, oh, my goodness.
There's the flash.
Ridiculous. That's just insane.
One of the other neat stories about Walker, and I know we've told a lot, but preseason, you know, the freshman athletes all gather, and there was a session on harassment. And a couple of the athletes were talking during it, and Lonnie Walker stopped the conversation, turned around and told the other athletes that this was important and you need to listen.
Wow.
And this was all athletes.
Leadership too, huh?
Wow. He has the ball and he's going to get fouled as he went to the basket, and he does that typical Lonnie Walker, what may become a signature move, the switch of the hands, even though the basket didn't count. You just get the sense there is so much more athletically in there that either he hasn't shown yet, but even today when he was leaving after that interview, I said, we saw that right hand to left and left to right. You got more of that? He goes, I got a lot more of that.
You like the confidence, too.
I got a lot more of that.
People kind of downgraded him, so to speak, early on, and I think many didn't realize that he had that meniscus injury. And when you come back from even a meniscus, it takes a little while to get your legs under you. And I tell you what, Ravi, he has been absolutely sensational the last 8 games. This is now 8 games in a row that he scored in double figures, and I would say that Lonnie is back.
Yep. 17 tonight. They need threes. They'll settle for the 2, and no good. And a rebound by Sam Wardenberg. And that could very well ice it. He comes down the floor and makes the 2 free throws with 43 to go.
Ravi, Wardenberg is going to be a weapon as we not only get to the ACC tournament, but on into the NCAA tournament. At 6'10", stretch 4, but he's not afraid to get to the hole. He's kind of your typical Euro big, very skilled. But the thing I love about him is a lot of European players have a difficult time with the physicality of our American game. He gets down there and bangs and rebounds as well. I really like number 21 in white.
6'10", 217-pounder out of Henderson, New Zealand. Second one swishes, 81-73. Wardenberg's 10, now a career high. They clipped that by 1. The 3-pointer falls. We're back to 5. Wake Forest not going away. Neither is Adnando, who's back in the studio. At home, which is another stunning part of it. That's the thing that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Duke was on the road, but now Villanova's at home.
Yeah.
And they're losing to St. John's.
And Ravi, they're playing without one of their other really good players in Marcus Levette,
Exactly.
St. John's. Incredible.
Can a win like the game against Duke change the way you look at yourself as a team, so that when you realize, like, okay, that was cool, now we have Villanova, that you would perhaps look at it differently than you would have maybe a month ago?
I think it's definitely a confidence boost and gives you, because now everybody's getting ready for their respective tournaments, right?
Yep.
And the idea behind it, for those teams who maybe struggled in the early part of the season, can you generate some momentum to carry you into your respective tournaments? And St. John's is clearly doing that right now.
Virginia up by 4 points on Florida State with less than 10 seconds to go in that game. So we'll see if FSU at home. It's now a final. So Virginia gets a win 59-55 after trailing most of that game to Florida State. So the number 2 team survives and could go to number 1 if Villanova ends up getting upset by St. John's. Here, the inbounds for Miami and a quick foul.
Nope.
And they'll send Jaquan Newton to the line, and he is a 60% free throw shooter.
Ravi, no matter how far Virginia is down, if the game's in the 50s, you can bet they're going to win.
Childress picks up his 4th. And tonight, Wake Forest 10 of 15 from the line. Miami 20 of 29, which is a little better than their average, almost 70%. And Newton gets that to go. I mean, you've got to be able to shoot free throws if you want to go anywhere in the tournament.
Absolutely. Because for those teams that love to get out in transition and push, the pace is going to slow. Now, can your half-court execution be superb? And then when you get fouled, can you go to the line? You got to be able to make free throws.
They're down by 6. Crawford, 3. Got it! Now they're down by 3. Long inbounds, deflected. Wardenberg has it, and he's going to go to the free throw line. But the free throw shooting has caused some problems for Miami tonight.
And Ravi, we talked about early how important it was for Crawford to get going in the second half. He's been terrific. How about that little dribble handoff? Went underneath that screen, gave Crawford too much space to be able to get that shot off. He's got 23 in this game.
And he's looking skyward. He's frustrated because that inbounds pass, he turned around at the last second, had a chance to really intercept it. Moore fouls out, double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds, his 8th double-double of the season. But Miami has missed 10 free throws tonight. And now Wardenberg, the freshman, goes to the line. And he makes the first. Sam Wardenberg, 2 of 3 tonight from the free throw line.
Quick push here, try to find Crawford or Brown. 34, 13 in black, or 23 in black.
Childress open. No good. Good interior passing. They get the 2. They're now trailed by 3 with 13 to go. Did he get the timeout? He did. Anthony Lawrence calls it.
Now both Crawford and Brown in the 20s.
All right, let's send it back to our studio and Adnan. Adnan. All right, Adnan, thank you guys very much. 84-81, Miami on top of Wake Forest. The free throw shooting has hurt the Hurricanes. And if you're the Wake Forest Demon Deacons and Danny Manning, you've been in so many games.
So many.
You've shown here an ability to hang around again. And at some point you feel like it's going to turn for them. I mean, the effort is there.
Oh, no question about it. We talked about how they were focused in on attention to detail today in shoot around. This does not look like a 2-9 team, folks. Against Clemson, they had a 1-point lead with under 4 minutes to go. Their issue, Ravi, is they've just not been able to close games. But I love the toughness and the fight that they've shown. And the 2 guys that we talked about that need to score for Wake Forest to have a chance with Crawford and Brown with 23 and 20 respectively.
Yeah. For Wake, it has been a nightmare on the road against ranked opponents. They have a 20-game losing streak, and their last win against a ranked opponent on the road was in 2010. It's 2018 now.
Oh, yeah, wow, it is,
not
isn't
17 anymore.
Making me feel bad, man. My 48th birthday's coming up. I'm feeling a little crusty.
48? You look like you're 28.
Oh, you kind and blind. Thank you. You got to watch the long pass here. And go for the steal. If you don't get it, you got to foul right away.
Walker goes long. Instead, it's Huell who gets it on the short throw-in. And DeJuan Huell, a 71% free throw shooter, goes to the line tonight. DeJuan Huell has not missed but one free throw, but he's only taken a couple. 3-point game. Got to make it.
Got to make your free throws here. And for Wake Forest, I'd imagine Danny Manning is going to have 5 3-point shooters on the floor. So look for the early push in the quick three. Well, Miami's left a lot on the line tonight, huh, Ralph?
We talked about it early, too. And tournament teams have to make free throws. Huell's second is good. So it's a 4-point, 2-possession game, barring a foul on a 3-point shot. Childress launches over Huell. That one's off to the left, and it's Walker who picks it up, and that should do it for Miami. A&M and Auburn coming up as soon as we're done here. What do you make of the Fighting Bruce Pearls and the season they've had?
I'll tell you what, great guards will get you a long way, and that's exactly what's happened for the Auburn Tigers. Bryce Brown, Mustafa Heron, and Jared Harper are a load to deal with. Each guy can burn you from the 3-point line. If you come up and crowd, they can get to the rim. And the thing that I've been impressed with is their willingness to share the sugar. They are excellent and willing passers as well.
They don't have a Chris Likes on their team, but they certainly are not a big team.
No.
Walker knocks down both free throws. And that's it. Miami a winner, 87-81. They've won 9 of 10 at home. For LaFonso Ellis, our entire crew here in Miami, I'm Carl Ravitch. A&M and number 8 Auburn coming up next. That'll do it from here. Thanks for watching. Good night from Miami.